Yeah, hi everyone. Welcome to Tech Paradise. Today we are going to see about a complete observability. You all know that unified observability platform. So Grafana is one of the unified observability platform where we can integrate Grafana with many other tools like Prometheus, Loki, and Ager. So so what is the role of this individual tools and how it can be integrated with Grafana? So what are the advanced features are available in Grafana? So all these functionalities we are going to see in this complete series. So yeah, so what we are going to see is, let me show you the topics which I'm planning to cover. Observability series, so Prometheus, Grafana, and OpenTelemetry. So this is what this series is about. We are going to see a general introduction about Prometheus, Grafana, and OpenTelemetry. This is just a high-level introduction. We are not going to go in deep about each and every tool functionalities and kind of stuff, because we all know that the theoretical part will be always boring and usually like we won't get to understand unless until we do it practically, right? So that's where. I'm going to touch upon a very high level idea about Prometheus, Grafana, or OpenTelemetry. Then we'll start with the practical session, the installation of Prometheus and Grafana. So how to configure the basics, monitoring. So first we are going to do some monitoring setup on server monitoring. So which is going to use the Windows Exporter. So Windows based VM. Um, so we are going to install some Windows Exporter. So what is Windows Exporter? So that also will be covered in the installation part. I'll give a brief intro on that. Then we can do the configuration and how to integrate this with Prometheus and how the Prometheus will get integrated with Grafana and how to create the dashboards in Grafana. So all these things we can going to cover in the first half of the series. Then I'm going to touch upon similar kind of setups, how we can do it with OpenTelemetry. So OpenTelemetry with Grafana integration. So that will be a slightly different, but almost the working strategy will be almost same. But OpenTelemetry, as you all know, it's a open standard. So I'm going to touch upon this OpenTelemetry concept as well. Then, yes, little bit of some advanced topic also. I'm thinking of covering it based on your support, what you're going to give to this series. So I will touch upon Grafana MCP, how we can integrate this MCP with AI agentic tools. So there are a lot of options are available. So you can integrate with GitHub Copilot or in VS Code, or even you can create your own AI agent tool. A basic AI tool can be created. For example, if you're using Azure, so you can create a agent in Microsoft AI Foundry, and from there you can integrate some of the custom tools like MCP tools, and you can make it as a agentic chat interface. So you can easily query the Grafana dashboards, and if there is any issue occurs for a particular server, so you can query and identify the issue. So all these things I'm planning to cover in this complete series. Let me know if you all want to add any other topics as well. So based on the support, I will try to add more and more concepts. So if everyone are interested, then I will add more topics to this series. Yeah, we'll see. So in this session, so as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to touch upon a basic introduction, very high level introduction about Prometheus, Grafana, and OpenTelemetry. So what is Prometheus? So Prometheus, as you all know, actually it is used to collect and store matrices. So what is matrix basically? So matrix is something like a kind of attribute, you can say. Um, so there are some attributes. For example, if you are monitoring a server, there are some particular attributes are available like CPU, memory, network interface threshold, bandwidth, so RAM capacity, RAM availability. So yeah, all these things we call it as matrices. So matrices are kind of an attribute which can be used to identify the performance of your system. So, for example, so using the CPU and memory and the network utilization. So you can able to identify the performance of your server. If the performance is good, that means your CPU is not much utilized, memory is not much utilized, and so everything will be in below the threshold level. So that is what. So metrics is something like it's a kind of attribute used to evaluate the performance of a particular system, and it will have some numerical value attached to it. So Prometheus is also kind of an monitoring tool. So Prometheus not only like you can collect and store metrics, even you can create some basic a graph, time series graph you can create in Prometheus. Even you can create the alert also in Prometheus. But majorly like Prometheus will not be used as a monitoring system. Um, but even though it still supports some of the basic things, but Grafana, you can integrate the Prometheus with Grafana. So the Grafana is giving more visualization. So you all know that Grafana is well known for visualization and analysis of some observability data. So you can create a dashboard as per your wish. So even alerts, logging, traces, metrics, everything is being supported in Grafana. It's a wide platform. It's not kind of a plug and play kind of tool where, for example, in some other tools, like even legacy tools, you can come across a scenario that if you have a particular system that you need to add into the monitoring, you can just enable some agent in a particular machine and you can just add the IP address or FQDN of the particular server and basic configuration that you have to do to onboard the server into the monitoring system. Once it is onboarded, so all the predefined dashboards will be available. You can see the data starts popping up into the dashboard. So, but in Grafana, it's not like that. There won't be any built-in dashboards kind of thing. Even though there are some templates available by community, many people across the world they are posting some templates. But still, you can create your own dashboards from the scratch as per your wish. Um, and also like it's one way of doing the optimization like uh, in legacy systems. So it is used to collect all the data from you. For example, sir, I'm keep on using the example of server monitoring, so it will be easy to explain. So in the server monitoring, you know that we don't need every data from the server, right? So there are a number of matrices or logs which won't be any useful to us. So those kind of information we don't need. Only we need information whatever that is used to quickly identify the performance of a particular system. So that is what we need. So since you have all the flexibility of doing the customization and optimization, you can just fetch the required information and I mean collect the required information using Prometheus and stuff like that. And then you can create a dashboard based on whatever the way you need. So that's a one of the powerful feature in Grafana, I would say. So, and OpenTelemetry. So OpenTelemetry is, I think you all know that. So it is a standard framework. Yeah, it's an open standard. It is accepted by CNF. So similarly, like Kubernetes, you all know that Kubernetes was introduced by Google, but later it was, it was announced as an open standard so that everybody started using it. Similarly, like OpenTelemetry is also like a kind of a framework was initially built and then it was given as a open standard to everyone. So since it is a uh, generic standard, so the benefit of using the open telemetry is that if you are migrating your monitoring workload from one monitoring tool to another monitoring tool, you don't have to do much configuration changes because nowadays, as you can see, like especially even in the cloud platforms, so Azure, AWS, and Google, so everyone has started supporting the open telemetry standards. So once you do the instrumentation, like so the log collection or metrics collection, everything will remain the same. You don't have to do much changes over there. So even if you move your monitoring tool from one tool to another tool, since every tool is supporting the open telemetry standards, you don't have to do much changes. You just have to do the changes specific to the particular tool itself. So that is the main advantage of using the open telemetry. So that's a very high level differences between Prometheus, Grafana, and OpenTelemetry. And one more note here: Prometheus will only support metrics. but Grafana and OpenTelemetry will support metrics, logs, as well as traces. So these are the three pillars of observability. So Prometheus is only used for the metrics. So that is one of the key difference between them. So I think, yeah, that's in end of today's session. So I just want to give you a very brief background about the differences between these three tools. So from the next video, we can directly jump into the practical session. Yeah. Thank you all. Please do subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.